The tales do not do you justice, warrior of light. Yes, I know who you are, and you know who I am. I was given the name Izel, but I earned the name Iceheart.
Oh, I didn't realize it'd be late. Okay.
This endless cycle of hatred, of bloodshed, of sorrow. You would see it continue, O noble warrior of light. I would not. I will not. I will bring an end to this war between dragon and man, no matter the cost. In time, you will come to understand that what we do for the greater good. For Eorzea, for Hydaelyn.
Even know what to look for, it's easy to miss. And the covering ice doesn't take long to reform either. How many more tunnels like this might there be in Snowcloak? Come to think of it, how many might there be throughout Kurthus? Though I did not doubt you would return, I am nonetheless relieved to see my judgment validated. 'Tis a blessing that you're still with us. Commander Levio took to pacing in your absence. You could have come with me. Is it finished? Does this mean we can leave this god-forsaken place? I can't feel my... Oh, forgive me. I should not keep you from Commander Levio. That took longer than I expected. What news, Amkip? So, Iceheart is but a pseudonym. Not that it matters. That she managed to escape is regrettable, but from your description of that beast, you did well to come as close as you did. In any case, now that you've cleared a path, the Temple Knights can begin to survey the tunnels in earnest. Maybe we can find a route past the wall. Wouldn't that do wonders for their fight against the heretics? The Crystal Braves should certainly share the credit for it too. So if we praise Amkip, we get to turn the situation to our advantage. Assuming we stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva, of course. Needless to say, our fellow Sirens have not been idle. Ophelia and Orianchi have been busy perusing the archives of Portal, gathering what information they can on Shiva. Which reminds me, if you were intending to charge back to Cap Dragonhead to report on today's events, and don't, the antecedent should be here in a minute. I can only assume that some people enjoy subjecting themselves to this court. Antecedent. You came straight from the archives of House Portal. I trust your time there proved fruitful. Would that I had. Orianchi and I scoured countless texts, but what we found was of questionable veracity. Accounts of Shiva's life and deeds are sparse and contradictory, only agreeing upon one point. She laid down with the dragon, the greatest of all sins, according to Ishgardian faith. Yet in the eyes of Iceheart's followers, this was a holy act, the blessed union of man and dragon. How could such a thing be even possible is quite another question. Suffice it to say, I very much doubt that we will find a useful answer in the archives of House Fortal. Much knowledge has been lost over the centuries, though in this case one wonders if by circumstance or design. It is by circumstance or design. You said that Iceheart took a moment to plead her case prior to escaping, did you not? Viewed without prejudice, most would agree that bringing an end to this war serves the greater good. I think Sir Emmerich may take issue with her methods. I do not care if a few stragglers manage to escape. Until the sappers confirm the tunnel is safe, the men are not disturbed. Yes, Lord Commander. You would pursue your foes with less zeal than less expected, Lord Commander. Lest you misunderstand, I do not deny our enemy has been given us good reason to be prudent. I merely meant, you being a man of faith, that I had expected a certain single-mindedness. After all, was it not by the will of Haloni that your ancestors came to this land? Why, they took up arms against the Dravinians. What would they have done in your position, I wonder? There are those who believe that faith is a renunciation of free will, that unquestioning the devotion is required for all those who would live in the life of service to the Fury. Such precious virtue might well serve a knight on the front line, less so a leader of a man. We are at all liberty to interpret the scriptures as we will. I choose to believe that the Fury would value the lives of her followers over the deaths of our enemies. But I would not presume to speak for the Knights of Elk. 'Twas a different time, nay, a different era, and scripture tells us only so much. Would that it told us more. The man is awfully pragmatic for the servant of the Holy See. Welcoming trade at the negotiating table to be served, less so when one's enemies are ready to make harness of the power of God. Mayhap he does not truly believe that Isar's plan can succeed. Truth be told, I too remain somewhat skeptical. Shiva is a real, living, breathing woman, of that there can be no doubt. In this respect, she differs from almost every other figure that have been summoned, each of whom was worshipped as a god. The sole exception being the good King Mogul Mod Toph, the myth made manifest in response to fervent supplication of the Mughals guard. Saint Shiva may differ, but what of the heretics? They are a tribe of outcasts without war with every mighty nation, who yearn for the resurrection of one who embodies the beliefs. If that is not placing one's faith in a higher power, then what is? Crystals and conviction, Nymphilia, they have them both in abundance. Can that truly be all that is required? My survey team has concluded a preliminary analysis of the aetherite Yazard used to escape. I believe that she teleported to another aetherite somewhere not far to the west. Despite the apparent proximity of the Seeking aetherite, however, they have been wholly unable to detect its presence directly. Unless Isar has some means to mask its signal, I can only presume that she had destroyed it to prevent us from following her. Without the means to teleport as she did, we have no choice but to search for the alternate route, most likely a tunnel, assuming one exists. Let's not give up on the teleportation just yet. One of our colleagues in Charlian may be able to assist us. I pray that you're right. I dare not think how long it will take us to survey the entire tunnel system. While Nymphilia looks into our aetherite problem, I would like to request your assistance on another matter. The 3rd unit is currently tracking the remnants of the heretic force which attacked us. However, the search goes poorly despite our numbers. Earth is vast, and Isar's follows know the terrain far better than we. Your knowledge of this region may serve to hasten the process. The sooner we capture Isar's followers, the sooner we can press them for their leader's whereabouts. Also, though it is a admittedly selfish quest, I feel my braids would be benefit immensely for working alongside you. While we have our share of veterans, we also have more than a few less experienced recruits, many of whom who look up to you, in case you were not aware. Good, I knew you would understand. New house can apprise you of the details. When the task is complete, you can find me at the observatorium. Captain Ilbert and I are meeting there to discuss the latest developments in his investigation. The double knights shall hold Snowcloak in our absence. Let us leave them to their work. Ours is more pressing.
There you are, Amkip. Commander Lavalier instructed me to wait for you. Your assistance is most welcome, believe me. Most of the Third hail from Ul'dah, and for a man accustomed to the feel and sand beneath their boots, this crunch of snow can be rather disconcerting. But to the matter at hand. Nary a moment ago, I received word that the heretics we seek have been spotted making for Danathan Pass. My braves are already pursued and actually grateful and overjoyed. I myself shall be taking part in the hunt. Never let me say that I do not earn my gold.
On fire. Cut my boot on a rock or something and I twisted it as it fell. The other eyes on my head on the Danathan Pass. Hurrying, you might catch it. If you aren't sure where to go, look for tracks. The snow is fresh, so they should be hard to find. Sire, what are you doing here? The heretics? I'm not sure. It's a great scale beast and you house? I think he went east on his own. The heretics split up, so we did too. How embarrassing. I was so intent on following the heretics' tracks that I almost failed to notice that they had doubled back. Almost, mind you. One tried to sneak up behind me and got a knife in the gut for his troubles. Thought myself alone, so I searched for the dead man's knapsack and for anything interesting. Lo and behold, before its friends found me, I came upon this. Withdraw in groups of 3 or less to the observatorium. If the signal and wait, the merchant will be watching. Be late and be left for dead. Speaks for itself, does it not? They can't possibly need to rendezvous inside the place, so we should restrict our area to the surrounding areas. Let me rephrase that. You should restrict your search to the wilderness around the observatorium. Only more than a moment's rest to recover from these wounds. I am through with listening for 2 excuses. We leave now. How? The woods are crawling with those bluecoats, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. Well, stay with him if you think you're faring better. Now, there's no need for that. There are places like this in my homeland. Scarp snow-capped peaks where blood must not be shed. Yet your lands have attested for the blood of the fallen, and by your deeds, it has drunk deep. No, I've done no wrong. None but meet in secret with heretics. Do not argue with them. We have the truth we can get. Inquisitors are not the only ones skilled in the art of interrogation. Damn it. Fancy meeting you, Amkip. I presume you work with the third party hither. What a tangled web. List you wonder you came not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. It came to our attention during the course of our investigation to the Ivy. It beggars belief, I know, but it seems that our favorite Garland spy may have been providing assistance to Iceberg. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Yugiri and Shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Master Ravenel is too kind. I fear my people have done little to aid your search for the spy. We long to strike back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land. Prevent tragedy which befell Doma before reoccurring. In the days ahead, and the work they promise will require a very particular set of skills. Skills which I am fortunate enough to possess. If you allow it, I would accompany you until your investigation is complete. That is most generous offer, Lady Gary, and one which I gladly accept. Thank you. Though I may disappear for a time, know that I shall never be far, and shall always be watching. A comforting thought. Come back here. Let's wait inside for Captain Milburn to return and deliver his report. Captain Milburn seems confident that the merchant's resolve would swiftly crumble over the quest. If so, we should have new information ere long. As to whether it will bring us any closer to learning the Ivy's identity, I would rather not say. Given our adversary's cunning, I shall consider fortunate if we are spared another wild dodo chase. Gods know we have more than enough to occupy our town as it is. Captain Milburn, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say the man could tell us naught that we already not know of she. We have since handed over to the Ishgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquire their information on the shipment routes. Go on. We recall the flame that we first identified as being the Ivy's employ. From him we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end. Fearing that the investigation had been compromised, we took the necessary step of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There are 5 on our list, including a flame stationed at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep the inventory of donations from abroad, the particulars of which he would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring that the needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound for the settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Porton. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think we can guess which one. None other. The little encouragement he's too confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting heretics. Well, there's one mystery solved, at least. But what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to prizing off his mask? I dare say we are, or unless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In desperate bid to cover their tracks, and Ivory resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider then that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say that the agent is among Raban's intimate circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames establishment? That is the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, when the groundwork of the act being laid beforehand. To slip into possession of authority unremarked, and remain above all suspicion about all these years. I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the three grand companies, Old Oz was ever the most memorable for infiltration. Both Limsa and Gridania had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Act. For, to all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, mind, under the same leadership. Only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. Oldall's military was made up of desperate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Reborn faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Ever since he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, it remained a small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, that meant procuring every passing sellsword. Unless the chaos at its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now, aye. The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. Though the monitors ultimately agreed to support the organization's funding, it was not a charity that it did so, but simple self-preservation. Had Neil Van Darnus' ambitions had been any less apocalyptic, you can be sure that they would never have risked supplying Reborn with an army. It is but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, any of which could be the Ivy. This is hiring to deal a blow against the Empire. The refugees were eager to lend as their aid. I expect to hear them ere long. Very good. Prepare to continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, they'll have the second attend to the unrest. The third can join the fourth in inspecting the crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in the like manner to the other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Kumai. I shall send word to Sarah Hammer informing him of our success in identifying the heretics and betters. Hopefully, this information will be some use to the Asgardians. It is time, Kumai. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Amkip. As the realm's stoutest champion, it is only meet that you be present for the discussion. Oh, and the Antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. On the honor of the Crystal Braves, I swear I will not rest until their ivies unmasked and in chains. Like me, you are doubtless eager to conclude our business with Iceland, but until another path of transcendence is found, she will remain beyond our reach. Manipulating the Archons is sparing no effort to secure the alternate route. Till such time as they succeed, I suggest we move on and give some thought to the realm's other problems. She'll go on ahead to Gridania in readiness to the coming council. Meet me at Nalthaka's altar, and we shall make our way to the Lotus Dam together.
attend the council, I will attend to some business of my own. But thanks for coming, Amkip. When you stand ready, speak to the conjurer yonder. She will so listen to the lotus stand. Alliance leaders await you at the lotus stand. Will you be joining them that time?
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader, not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartno dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side.
Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemy's ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
Not have skipped you noticing from that the nations Eorzea known to being one of one purpose, despite the protestations of the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Dalamog is not enough to stir them. And the reason for this? Deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. Nations leaders can come to all the understandings alike, but their unity means little less to the common. To the Laminsons, for example, the Admiral Merwib outlawed piracy over a decade ago. Foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog-swirling, wooden-legged cutthroats. And likewise, the great islands are mocked as herdings who talk to trees, and they hold on to scorn as wilderness swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take the Eldon Society, the legend, for example. That's beside it. The fact that it is that people are worried about outsiders whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that the conflict of carcinosity is necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering factions that advocates the acquisition of Omega in order to placate them. They present them with something resembling warfare and thereby curb the appetites for full-scale conflict. Not enough idle music. Let's speak a more pressing matter, the Ivy. They spoke at the observatory, and Captain Milburn has further shortened his list of suspects. And right happy coincidence, the one he deems most likely candidate is lately could be Gordania. The hunt is not as near its end, Captain. All that remains is to coordinate our court. Seek out Milburn and your Atlas Nest, and we'll give you the particulars. Should there be any developments in Curtis, you may be sure that we'll send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. Gordania's lush abundance never ceases to delight. Just a far cry from the barren deserts of Volda. My thanks for coming, son. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we are unmasked the end of hiding. From this point on, we must proceed extremely caution. Listen, the spy we've been seeking all this time is none other than Frank Marshal Elaine Roy, second in command. Prior to joining the Immortal Flame, she was a mercenary to no smaller than that. If serious skill with a pole on had to be seen, I believe. With Ishkarian birth, she is the highest ranking foreigner in Immortal Flames, behind the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Rabahan chose people based on their worth. Once they held was of no interest. The monarchists saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. It is no secret that they did not favor foreigners, Guardians especially, after the way the Holy Sea Force of the Alliance. Yet the monarchists did not raise so much of a murmur protest when royalists were appointed or opposed. That isn't strange, it seemed. Maybe the idea has some hold on the monarchists. These revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Royal's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command their mortal flames in the absence of the Flame General. When that Raban attended the Council of Alliance leaders, she should have remained in the Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being a good eye, yet here she is nonetheless. On some pretense, she's up to something. Mark my words. Even as we speak, half a dozen men trawling the Frame's records for evidence of raw steals. If we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing, the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I reply? I have her eyes, sire. You have my thanks. Let us go then. Take care not to alert our quarry. Royal is headed in the direction of the Blue Badge Camp. With me, son. So, Royal enters into the Carlisle Academy. Maybe some more chance. What could it be she needs to report Nash? Better look further over there. She's not there before and try the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, as you may have seen some. XIV is her name. I shall remain here in case Royal reappears. Amkip Wol. Such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? A social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. No every passer, none boring herself. Well, don't let me keep you. Nowhere do you see me, son. Are you sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back here either. In the 7 hours the ship gone. The roost, how could I forget? Good evening, sir. Might just use some moon toy talk. Couple of days and use a man of good figure. Take my meeting. Perhaps another time, friend. That necklace. You're a shinobi of Doma. The one you seek a second left Gordani by way of Westwood Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but those eyes are not so easily mistaken. You may wish to take a search the East Shroud. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Trouble dogs. Were not for their unique talents, Royal would have disappeared without trace. Contact us leads us to these shroud sites. Just to be file royals, for example, and take a ferry to what from Westchester. The Dallas wish to make some preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you as sweet moon clear. To sleep in mirror, then I used to travel. This way, my friends. Johnny, the one you seek, I expect you make some more contact with the Guardian Masters there. Explanation is no doubt where the Guardians have their own method of communicating from great distances. Margini's friends at the Garland Islands have provided us with new devices which is certain electronic communications. We have installed them around the city states, so the building that made it to heroes ages corresponding with masters. Would thus be have no choice but to rendezvous with third contact with. Yet, as well known facing the moral flame should not move about them around the great. It will be a matter of time before someone's caught in disguise. For this reason I believe she has chosen to back shout for her fans technique. Though it's an uncommon sight here, comings and goings on land has the likeness to turning the heads. That the Guardians have set agencies in mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in blocking their efforts. This is it. We will only make for the help and attempts of Cat Ryle. Ryle was here, she is no more. We have no choice but to continue the pursuit. My people report the choir has departed for the Bramble Patch. Gabby returns to the Gnarls whence she came. Perhaps it is all for the better. To convict someone of her standing will require some damning evidence against her. What could be better than catching the act if she needs to meet with the Garlean Masters? My countrymen shall lie in wait in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends.
Just beyond, royals in conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer. An imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it, with me. Blame Marshal Elaine Royal. You're under arrest for treason and espionage. You're a fellow, you bloody fool! You are unarmed, my lady, and scarcely guard for battle. If you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for stolen the Charleswood? Last I looked, there was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance, then. Very well. If you think of something to say, there'll be plenty of time to say it later. Now come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have not died. Even the glory of royals renowned could not have hoped to escape by force. Spider claims her surrender does not bespeak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is hoped that the tendrils pushing twined around the royal flames will gradually wither and die. May it happen the people of Ul'dah will have a grand company they deserve. But let's speak of the present. If I may ask, what will you do now? So the Scions seek a way into Iceheart's sanctum. Then I dare say you're able to return to the rising stars. Pray do not let me defeat you. Fear not, my countrymen, and I shall attend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. Speaking of talents, have you considered training in the art of shinobi? You have an aptitude, I believe it, so please give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. Thankless Tales of Lady Yagiri almost begged belief. My heart spot fair to burst with admiration. A rousing tale of common valor. Truly refreshing to have Count Lady Yagiri as a friend. Yes, but you're missing the point. The individual doesn't matter. It's a team effort, and I was the one who she could not be seriously considering. Life as his street performance from what would be one's last resort, not the first. Oops. Steady. Not bad, eh? With a little more practice, that could be unfortunate for the reward exchange. Tachao has grown beyond the childish fantasies of becoming a songstress. Now she aspires to be a legendary street performer.
battle of wills, a struggle for supremacy. Our fighting styles might differ, but this is an unyielding spirit in the state of the warriors the world over. I must admit, this exercise of yours never fails to amuse me. While its movements are mere comical, it does seem to have having the desired effect. Stand, Tori, on your honor as a sign, I forbid you surrender. Ugh, cannot go on much longer. I could do this all day. All day. That's actually kind of funny. Welcome back, Amkip. I understand that Alphino has had a task for you. May I ask what it was? Charges of treason and espionage against Elaine Royal. I can scarcely believe it. Could there have been some matter of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Whether the truth may be, we must trust to the authorities to uncover it. Let us speak of another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find a way into XIV's standards. Use the Aetherite in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west. Most likely to a sanctuary of some description. It is there we suspect that she means to summon Shiva using the crystal she stole from the House for Tall Caravan. The heretics believe that they were bleeding about the second coming of their patron saint. But if, as you suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to the primal. Suffice to say, it must be stopped, and stop them we shall. But first, we must surmount the obstacle that our side has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be simply a matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we have been able to ascertain the position of the Aetherite which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetherite upon arrival. A reckless, desperate measure. But also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length with Oriange, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution. Which is why we have called upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise. A colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant Toll from Charlie. She should be arriving within the hour, in fact. Since you're here, maybe we can welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming. What manner of woman is she, I wonder? We have spoken before via Linkborough, of course, but that is not the same.
Minfilia, am I right?
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and to thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Sharlayan scholar, and an authority on Aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
For an outpost in an aether-rich wasteland, this place is a good deal livelier than I expected. Just goes to show that you never know until you know. Let us return to the rising stones at once, then. We have much to discuss. Tube Samadhi on the wall back there. I'm amazed you managed to find all the pieces after, well, you know.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on.
No thankward here. No thankward.
Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it then, your missing aetherite?
We have not, no. We know that Iceheart teleported to an aetherite not far from the first, yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate a second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the Aetheryte's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the Aetherite. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risked the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
Transition voice actresses at this point. I've already informed Alpha Knowing of our plan to recreate the beacon in the manner Moonbreeder described. He agreed that despite the inherent danger, it represents our only hope of success. I also said that he wished to meet with you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you'll find him waiting for you when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you've done on our behalf, Amkip, and I have faith that you will return to us, as you always have. Trust in the power of the White Oversight, Amkip, and in me, of course. It is not a matter of training your eyes up here. Without foreknowledge of serendipity, we will never find every tunnel. The very land conspires against us, the broken ice ever reforming to conceal the entrances. Good to see you, Amkip. I'm starting to wonder if you are having second thoughts. Captain Elbert sends his regards, by the way. He intends to the interrogation of your Land Royal and Uva even as we speak. I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the Ivy upon your return. Trust that, by which I say, the others are waiting for us at the Aetheryte, after you, sire. There, it's ready. It worked, I think. Try tuning to the Aether right now. Feel for the current and try to locate the beacon. We've done all we can. Keep it. Now let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon and we have created. If by the grace of the 12 you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. I might have joined you, but Rianche made me a promise I wouldn't. Apparently, the thought of me becoming Shiva's thrall was too much to bear. As if I'd give her the chance. We cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, she may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual. If she succeeds, you have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your own strength will suffice, and so I would encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Murmurity's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Before you assemble your party, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Amaric. Sir Amaric regrets that he could not be in person as I read you this letter. Scar's faces an unprecedented threat. Yet in an hour of need, it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her. Amkip Wol, the warrior of light, savior of Eorzea, your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you choose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in the service of a greater cause. May Helene bless you with the good fortune to see you safely home.